Hey guys, Matt Dawkins here. Welcome to the PineCast, episode 5. Today we get to talk about nutrition. Just waiting on my co-host to get here.
Coming.
He's coming.
I'm coming.
What are you doing?
Sorry, there was a line in the bathroom.
We don't have very many bathrooms. It's fine. Yeah, like I said, we talked about the pillars of purpose-driven fitness last week. And what were those? They were nutrition, rest, training, recovery, and mindset. Today we get to focus on nutrition.
I think we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
I was gonna say, what in the world are you wearing right now?
No, what are you wearing? It's like I don't even know you. We've been doing this for like look at the pumpkin.
That's what I wear every day.
You got nothing. It's the Halloween PineCast.
You put this here.
It's the Halloween PineCast.
All right. I'm dressed up as a CrossFit coach then.
Do you have?
You look like a woman. You look like a.
Give you one good guess. What is this?
I think you're Thor.
Identity crisis store. I was gonna be Icarus.
It's not the size of the hammer. It's the.
That's how it's used.
Yeah, how it's used.
Pretty good. I was gonna be Icarus.
How hot is it in that right now?
Good thing it's fall.
This looks like it breathes really well though. You got your leg. You don't have your legs out really.
Hey, well, they're crossed.
Is this a dress or is it a Thor thing?
It's Lady Guinevere and Thor.
Or mashup. Speaking of mashups, to begin today's conversation about nutrition, there's something in town. We've got the Coastal Carolina Fair is in town, and Food for Days, and we sent out our very own Thor to interview the food, namely, and talk through nutrition. You guys check this out real quick.
Hello, CrossFit Sacred Pine. It's Peter from the PineCast. This week's topic is nutrition, one of the 5 pillars of purpose-driven fitness. And where else better to be than ground zero at the Carolina Coastal Fair? And it's got it all, whatever you want. From deep fried calzones, the funnel cakes, they even got steak Sundays, steak and shrimp Sundays, surf and turf Sundays. Well, I'm trying every single thing for science, and I'm looking for healthy options. And so far I found a smoothie place. They even got a diabetic smoothie option. They got grilled chicken bowls, and they got a whole bunch of other stuff. Stay tuned. So if you want to get your meat on, I had the Butcher Boys London broil steak sandwich, freshly sliced, medium rare, on a pita with peppers and onions. Probably 8 to 10 points on my Weight Watchers thing. A pretty good option nonetheless. But then you got a shrimp and grits sundae. Who doesn't want a mayonnaise drizzle over some shrimp, some steak, and some fries with some cheese and bacon bits and everything? So now I'm standing in front of the world famous Chester's Gators and Taters. I'm assuming it's world famous. They don't have this in San Diego where I'm from. You can get a shark bite bowl. You can get gator bowl. You can get gator mac and cheese. You can get gator kebabs. You can get cheese stuffed gator. That sounds awesome. And you know what? Go for it. Have it. But just know that there's a cost to it. It's going to cost you some burpees. It's going to cost you maybe 100 wall balls or not. But hey, don't deny yourself some good stuff. And then here we are. We're at Elephant Ears. What says nothing but the fair, but a deep fried dough, right? With some drizzle on it, some raspberry sauce, some chocolate sauce, some whipped cream. Buy one, get one, enjoy it. Split it with the family. Don't deny yourself. It's once a year. Go for it. Gator kebabs. All right, so we took the plunge. We're going for the gator kebab. It does not taste like chicken. A little rubbery. The sauce makes it. It's in between shark and chicken. $12 though. It's pretty good. Now this is what I'm talking about. Hand-dipped cheesecake, cookie dough. Oh my goodness. Tasty stuff. Hot donuts now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not all for show. I'm actually eating a cookie. Harriet's Cookies, 2 for $1. In the main building. You can't beat it. Support your local cookie makers. All right, so it's not a unicorn. It's true. They actually do have salad at a fair. There's a Greek salad right there. You can also get grilled chicken shish kebabs, a gyro, not a gyro, and tzatziki sauce and whatnot. But if you want a slushie, you want some pizza, have it. Go for it. The takeaway here is don't deny yourself. Enjoy the pleasure. Have a plan. Don't engorge yourself like a crazy person. Lord knows I've done it my whole life. Consistency is the key at the end of the day. You put in the hard work every day, each week. It's not for nothing, so don't throw it away. Holiday season's coming up. We got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, we got New Year's. It's one temptation after another. Moderation, moderation. That's all I can say, moderation. So here I am, the PineCast, Sacred Pine. Thanks for listening, and come out to the fair and have a good time with the family. See you soon.
And we're back. We're back from the fair. Peter looks a lot more like Peter, the Peter I know. Although I would say blonde hair is becoming of you.
The Victorian hat works too.
I mean, it works for Thor, works for Peter. I might try it. I might give it a shot. Today we're talking about nutrition, and we're gonna do a little different today. We're going to. I want to sit in the seat of host, and I want the opportunity to ask Peter lots of questions about nutrition. And I think if it's something that really, really, really matters to me that he's talking about, I'm definitely going to chime in. But Peter, having been on this journey of 450 plus pounds, down over 200 pounds now, he's been on the journey that a lot of us would love to say that we've been on as well, to a better us.
You want to say
a better
that.
us. Yeah. So in line with that, Peter, why don't you start by answering the question, is it hard to be disciplined in your nutrition?
It's extremely difficult.
I feel like it's a loaded question, but
on paper, it's easy, right? You just follow a plan. You get a homework assignment, you do the work. But I always procrastinated as a student, so it should be no surprise. It's extremely difficult. It's much harder than actually coming here and doing any WOD that's on the board, because life gets in the way and life's not easy.
Well, if you've been on this journey now for years, would you say that it's gotten easier, or is it still just as difficult as it was in the beginning?
It's easier from the standpoint that I am much more motivated because my mindset has changed. I don't want to be a victim anymore when it comes to my own nutrition, my circumstances. I'm trying to be the agent of change when it comes to myself in that aspect of my life and taking accountability on it. So I think it's the nature of CrossFit itself, the community aspect of it, everything that goes with CrossFit works for me, whereas other things in the past did not stick. Because I've been on 20 diets, I've done all sorts of exercises since I was 16 years old. None of it stuck. I would lose 50 pounds right out of the gate, and then before I know it, I wasn't staying on my plan.
So you would hit maybe a benchmark in your head, and then sort of just slide back into your old routine? Or were you disciplined for a time, or was it just easy to lose the weight without really having to dial in on your nutrition?
It was both. I had a lot of weight to lose immediately, and I was disciplined and motivated in those days. It's kind of like the New Year's crunch. Everybody goes out to the gym, they get their membership. 3 months in, the results are there, and then you had a bad week, and then I wouldn't go to a meeting because I knew I was going to be a positive on the scale. So I'm like doubling my efforts trying to lose the weight. Well, it doesn't quite go that way again, and I don't go back again. 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row, and before you know it, the shame is built up so bad that you don't want to show your face. And the last thing they're going to do is judge you. They want you to be there, but it's an internal psychological battle.
So you mentioned, and if you guys can hear this in the background, my kids are here today, and so you're probably hearing them in the background. Bless my wife, she's taking care of both of them right now in the room right there. Community. You mentioned Weight Watchers, and you mentioned the showing up to meetings, and so I know that we have people, just to give them a little bit of context. What is Weight Watchers? Because many of our folks may not know what that is.
Weight Watchers is it's a national weight loss program that changes every year or so.
In fact, it's changed recently, right?
It has.
Its name changed.
It has.
You know what it is now?
Something wellness.
Something. It's WW still.
Yeah.
Something wellness.
Something wellness. Wellness works.
Wellness works.
The science is always changing, so they're always tweaking the program for that too, and probably for marketing purposes. But at the end of the day, they're trying their best to get people so we can eat regular food. We're not denying ourselves anything, just being accountable for those things. So, right now I'm doing what's called freestyle because I've been doing it for almost 4 years now. Like, I know what I eat on a regular basis, the lean proteins, the eggs, the fat-free yogurts, those, and the fruits and vegetables,
Did it take you 4 years to get to where you knew that about the diet, or
it's been 3.
you feel like you really had to track for 4 years to get where you are?
You really do, and I would, even if you weren't in Weight Watchers, I would absolutely recommend tracking or having a food diary, putting it in a MyFitnessPal style application, because if you're really serious about your fitness, you need to know what you're putting in your body on a daily basis, because if you think you know what you're eating without actually tracking it, you are eating a lot more than you think you are. Not just the things you forget that you put in your mouth that day, but just the portion sizes alone.
Yeah, we were just talking, I was just hanging out with a member of our gym who was sure that they were eating at a deficit daily. We use the basal metabolic rate as a great guideline for how many calories to eat if you really want to pay attention to your calories that way. And she was sure that she was eating at a deficit, but we put everything in MyFitnessPal, and we were 350 calories over that basal metabolic rate, which on some days might be fine, but most days probably not fine. Most days that's probably in excess, which you're not going to lose weight when you're eating more calories than you're burning, right?
Yeah.
So we have people at home, people that are listening, watching, who, they've got goals. They want to lose weight. Maybe they want to lose fat and gain muscle. Maybe they just want to look good naked, right? Maybe they want to get back to their pre-baby bod. Maybe their goals aren't necessarily weight-based. Maybe their goals are just longevity. Hey, in 20 years, I want to be an asset to my family. I'd like to avoid chronic disease if possible, right? My family maybe has a lot of diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I don't want to be one of the many in my family who have it. Or I have it and I'd like to get rid of it, right? Several goals out there. And so I'd love to start at 30,000 feet to just talk about the importance of nutrition. And do you think that it matters? Maybe it's a loaded question, but does nutrition matter for every single one of those goals that I mentioned? Or do you feel like in some cases nutrition isn't as important as others? And I'm asking you as something that, I would say an authority, but also just somebody who's kind of walked through it for a while.
It absolutely matters, because depending on what your goal is, you can alter the nutrition to match the goal. Like if you want to be someone who's more like weight training biased, something like that, well then maybe you want to do more heavy protein and you want to do things that are going to give you that bulk. If you want to be leaner, more cardiovascular driven, maybe you want to do more plants and fruits and things like that, more seeds and good good fats and avocado and things like that. If you want to just have a well-rounded fitness, you want to have a well-rounded diet.
What if I just am happy where I am and I don't really care about improving? I kind of like my lifestyle. I mean, are you gonna talk me out of that? Are you gonna tell me that's probably not gonna be good for me, or are you just gonna let me be? Because I know we got people in our gym who are content with where they are and compositionally. They're content with their performance, and they think, man, if I'm just here in 20 years, I feel like I'll be doing pretty good.
If you feel good about yourself as an individual, you feel good about yourself as an individual. Why else? What are you pushing yourself for? If you have your cholesterol's good, if your blood work's good, if you don't tire out of breath trying to tie your shoes and stuff like that, if you're still exercising on a regular basis, you're eating healthy, you're still eating relatively well, because you wouldn't be in this current position you're in.
What if I'm not eating well though? What if my diet is beer and pizza 4 nights a week, but I've just got, my metabolism is good, I like what I see in the mirror, I come in here and I'm one of the better ones of the athletes in the workouts, and I just like CrossFit for that, because I like to be competitive, and I feel like, let's just say I'm 35 years old, and I think, man, if I just keep this up, I'm 55, I'll be, 55, I'm going to the games, like,
well, you might
what
not
do you
be
say
going
to that person?
Well, you might not be going to the games, but, to each his own is all I can say. I'm not going to say there's a right way or a wrong way to do something. Like, I have my formula that works for me. There's a lot of different ways you can be solid on nutrition. You know, if I don't, so I know people who like to have their ice cream or dessert every single night, you know, and they can probably bust better workouts than I can in here, and they're happy with it, and they're happy with themselves because they don't feel like they're denying themselves any pleasure. And I know what happens when you deny yourself something. Well, then you want to just like splurge on it and go crazy. So, you know, you don't ever want to have my brain's blanked on the word.
Yeah, I get that though. I totally get that. I agree. I think nutrition is important for whatever your goals are. So I know you talk a lot about, you know, convenience and that being sort of a sticking point for folks when it comes to nutrition. I'd love for you just to expound on that a little bit. I know you talked about how easy it is to eat bad, and that's one of the traps we fall into. Talk about that.
My biggest pitfall where I kept sabotaging myself when I was back in San Diego, I would go to work 90 miles each way twice a week, and I called it the tractor beam effect, you know, just like a Star Wars thing. My truck would go by a fast food restaurant, and the gravitational pull would pull me into that drive-through, and I'd be in front of a menu board ordering food, and you'd be surprised how many times I would order food, get a guilty conscience, and actually like drive by the window, wave at the girl, and just keep going.
Wow.
Only to fall into another drive-through 10 minutes later down the road, and then, you know,
Tractor beam.
Get a double animal style, you know. If I didn't bring my food with me, if I didn't prepare the night before my breakfast and lunch, I would definitely all the time I would get a bad meal to start the day, and I would continue that cycle through lunch, through dinner, and then on the way back home I would do the same thing. I'd be playing the same psychological game. And on those days I generally didn't get to exercise, and they were long days, heavy food days, and it would mess me up for the next day or two. Or then I would try to undereat the next 3 or 4 days, trying to make up for that day, and then you don't have the energy stores you need for a good workout. So I was constantly like this, up and down, and then I look back at my my Weight Watcher logins.
Talk about because I know with Weight Watchers a big part of that is weighing in at the meetings. We're actually going to be starting something here on site for 10 athletes who want the extra push. We're going to do something very similar to, I know what Peter's story tells, and I think this would be great insight to talk to the people about the journey of weight loss, not just week to week, but talk about from start to finish and how that journey has been for you over the last several years.
In the last 45 months, 197 possible weigh-ins, I have lost weight 102 times.
How many? How long?
45 months.
45 months, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. Almost 200.
197 weigh-ins.
Correct.
Over 4 years.
And I've lost weight 102 of those times. 52% of the time I lost weight.
That's almost one every week.
Yeah.
Kind of weighing in every week.
So 65 I gained, and the remainder, I think it was like 31 or something, I did not go.
Okay.
So, but most of those,
You were skipping meetings.
I would have gained weight.
And why were you skipping meetings, Peter?
Well, that's when I was drinking.
So when you were drinking, you were ashamed.
That's correct.
And so you didn't even go to the meetings.
Because I knew they were going to be positives.
Because you knew they weren't going to be good weigh-ins. So you could pretty much say for the ones you didn't show up to, you would have gained. So you're saying
Except for
52%,
vacations or something like that, but yeah.
52% of your weigh-ins were up or down? Which one?
They were down. I lost
52% of your weigh-ins, just a little bit over half were down. So how would you because I know many of our folks they slave to the scale.
So 52% of my weigh-ins were losses, and I lost 200 pounds. So this tells you,
Yeah.
you when you look at the graph, 1 week I will lose 13 pounds, then I would gain 8, and then I would lose 5, and then I would gain 0.4, and then 0.2, and then 3.6. So it's a constant roller coaster. But if you look at the whole graph, all you see is this, and that looks nice.
Yeah.
That looks nice.
It's nice to be at the other end of 200 pounds looking back, and so that's what makes that piece of data so much sweeter, that you lost, that 52% of your weigh-ins were down, 48% you could argue were up, right? Or almost half your weigh-ins you were up in weight. That's a sucky story.
That doesn't necessarily
if you don't
always
have
mean
the
bad
200
diet.
pounds down.
Doesn't necessarily mean bad diet. it means my body is constantly changing. I'm building muscle mass. I'm holding in water from workouts. You can have like 5 perfect days in a row, but that's not going to show up on the scales sometimes for 2 weeks. You could have that you're really. I got onto the fair yesterday and eat 7,000 calories, but that does not mean it's going to show up tomorrow on the scale. That could be 3-4 days down the road. So you would have this game with yourself, and it's really easy to get on a scale at home. I would still do it 5 times a day. After a workout, how much did I sweat out?
Do you still do it 5 times a day now?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2 a day? 2 a day? So what's the moral of that story? Because I think, that's incredible. Because I could imagine feeling a sense of defeat, stepping on the scale and it being up, and somebody trying to tell me, oh, it's probably just muscle mass, or it's just your body's holding on water, and I want to be like, nah, man, don't try to encourage me right now. Let me feel down. Let me feel defeated. What would you say?
I can only say it because I know over these 4 years, consistency is the key at the end of the day, because I know that the end result has been that I've lost all this weight. Okay. So even though I get in that little mind game with myself, and I tell people, and then don't worry, you're fine, it's all going to be going away, and then it does. And and the history has proven that out. So, but I am not cured by any means. It's a daily battle.
You're not finished.
Yeah, I have to be vigilant, and I had lost 150 pounds before. I was 390, and I got down to 248, and I said to myself, I was never going to be fat again. And it took all 2 years, and I was over 400 pounds.
Man.
So I let it all go, and I cannot do that again.
I hear that. Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I know. That's all me. Well, let's get into the meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar, if you will. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I think we need to give some application before we sign off today, because it's really easy to hang out at 30,000 feet, but sometimes people just need to hear what they already know again as a way to kickstart, because we really do want this to help, right? The purpose of this podcast is to give you guys vision, but it's also helpful when we can give you practical application. We can help you guys. What does it look like tonight for dinner, right? So I'm actually going to ask Peter this question, and he's on the spot. I want to know, Peter, being 4 years in, you're on the Simply Filling diet regimen. You are no longer tracking your food. I want to know what you had for breakfast this morning, Peter Singer.
For breakfast, I had an apple, I had an orange, I had a Weight Watcher protein bar of 3 points.
What does that mean?
They're just it's a little bar.
What's in it? You said protein, so protein.
It's got 27 grams of protein.
Oh, wow.
And then it tastes like chocolate.
That's a lot of protein.
Yeah.
That's like a quarter pound of chicken. That's a lot of protein right there. It's only 3 points.
Right.
So I know that doesn't give a lot of you don't have a lot of context for home, but that's not very many, all things considered. So
for lunch, I had.
So no snacks between breakfast and lunch?
No.
None. No snacks.
Fruit. I did. So
you had an apple and orange and a Weight Watchers protein bar at the same time?
No.
Or you spread them out?
I had a protein bar and a banana before I came to the workout.
Oh, okay.
When I got home, I had the orange and the apple.
Okay.
And
then for lunch,
I made ahi tuna medallions with a little bit of rice.
Where'd you get this ahi tuna?
Harris Tuna.
Was it like $19.99 a pound?
$7.99 on sale.
$7.99 on sale.
Yeah.
I could deal with that. That's affordable. So you had ahi tuna on what?
Just plain ahi steaks.
That's it.
With a little rice.
Okay, a little rice. Rice is pretty high up on the glycemic index.
Yeah, it was less than half a cup.
But when you pair it with protein, it's not nearly as high in terms of glycemic load, which is a fun fact for you guys. Some of you guys are trying to get all the hacks in there. There's one for you right there. A Snickers bar is better than, what do we want to say it's better than?
Chicken fried steak?
Bowl of rice. Yeah, because you have the fat and the protein in with the carbs. So when your body detects the sugar in the blood, it doesn't have to release as much insulin in response because the other pieces of food in there. Anyways, chasing a rabbit. That's what you had for lunch. Ahi tuna and some rice. Have you had anything between now and then?
I had a bag of grapes from Walmart. When I got
whole
those
bag?
Pumpkins. 2.5 pounds of grapes.
Oh my God. That's a lot of grapes.
And that's a 0.
Can you eat that many?
That's a 0.
I don't know what 0 means. Still, I don't know what 0 means. That seems like a lot of fructose. A lot of sugar in that. But if it's a 0, I'll take your word for it. I like that, though. Listen, fruit's a part of, it's real, right? Like, a lot of times you'll hear us say things like, if it had a mama or it grew out of the ground, have at it. Otherwise, Push it to the side, right? That's what you had for, what we had for dinner tonight?
I'm making Swedish meatballs. Not really something I would want to make, but it's turkey, ground turkey.
Okay.
So it's not the beef, but egg noodles, one of the spice packets, and a salad. So
No ice cream tonight?
maybe Halo Top later, but probably not.
Halo
tonight.
Top?
Probably not tonight.
Is that the only kind of ice cream you eat?
No.
What do you miss the most about this new mindset when it comes to nutrition?
I don't miss anything because I eat what I want, basically when I want it.
Wow. Are you like Oprah? You're like, I love bread.
You know, I do love me some bread,
You love some bread?
but
Does it love you back? My
No, it
daughter's
does
running
not.
around in the parking lot
does
on
not
her
love me
diaper.
back.
Doesn't love you back? Bread doesn't
I
love
like
me back
chocolate.
either.
When
That.
I'll get in a chocolate mood, and then I'll destroy some chocolate. I can destroy a kitchen in 15 minutes if I'm in the wrong mindset.
If you had to recommend one diet to people, you have to. What diet would you recommend to people?
I would just recommend Weight Watchers just because that works for me.
Weight
But
Watchers?
It may not work for
Point system?
everybody, you know. Only because you can eat real food all the time, you know.
Cool.
I did Nutrisystem. I was eating their prepackaged stuff, and I had more gas than I could ever want you to imagine. You know, we did Jenny Craig. We did the dehydrated meals. I used to live out of a freezer. My mom, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. It was all meat and potatoes.
Fish sticks.
Yeah, it was all frozen food. Steak-ums.
We got fish sticks.
If I didn't have ham, steak, and mac and cheese twice a week, something was off. Right.
And you make a lot, so you can
Yeah.
eat leftovers during the week. Yeah.
So it's all processed foods, not good foods, and our diet suffered.
So how did it affect your grocery shopping budget when you started making healthy changes? 'Cause I know a lot of people have concern that eating healthy costs. The perception is it costs a lot of money to eat healthy. Was that your experience? And I know you said you don't withhold. You still enjoy foods that you enjoy, even if they're not great for you, but in moderation. It's kind of how you've attacked it.
I mean, is it more expensive?
You said ahi tuna $7.99
Sure.
versus bologna 99 cents, right?
You can,
Cheaper.
You can get roasted chicken or deli meats and things like that are pretty cheap. There is some processed stuff in those, but it's not ahi tuna every night, and it's only going to be when it's on sale. Shrimp's cheap right now, so try to get from your local guy on the side of the road, selling out of a van. I was really surprised at how cheap vegetables were when I was buying them in California. I'd come home with 3-4 bags of stuff, and it would be like under $30-$40. So, I was eating brown rice, a lot of beans, and a lot of vegetables and fruit, and that kind of started me getting used to eating healthier foods. And I really love to cook, and so it was a whole new world for me. I was no longer boil a bag Brussels sprouts and cheese sauce, because that's what I grew up on.
Yep, that sounds delicious, doesn't it?
Succotash and mixed medley.
Oh my gosh,
No.
we could talk about way more when it comes to nutrition. Here's what I want to do for the next 2 minutes, and this is random, but I think if you're looking for the practical tips, we're going to go back and forth. Peter is less prepared because I've had 15 seconds to think about this now. He's less prepared than I am, but I'm going to give you a tip when it comes to nutrition, and then Peter's going to give you a tip, and he's got 10 seconds to give the tip, and then I'm going to give you another nutritional tip, and then he's going to give one, and we're going to see who says first, and whoever stutters first loses. You ready?
Yes.
All right, Peter goes first.
Moderation. Whatever you eat it in moderation. Don't overindulge yourself for the one thing.
When you are at the grocery store, do your best to buy 99% of what you want and need from the perimeter of the grocery store. That was too soon. That was too soon. What else you got? Come on, I know you got more. I'll give you a pass.
We've said it, but prep your food. Cut the melon the night before. Cut the pineapple. Get those little boxes out and get your meals ready to go, so you're not forced to make a bad decision when you're on the road.
Brilliant. One of the best things you can do is just think about your week in advance, because you may have time to cook every meal. There have been seasons of my life as a business owner, as a dad with 2 kids, where I have been able to go home and cook every meal. And that has been so much fun.
Let me ask you this. Do you plan out the week of workouts for the gym?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, Betsy Jonas does that. It was
Maybe
just
she
super
can
helpful
maybe
for
she
me.
can plan out her nutrition.
She absolutely plans out the week, and I'm so thankful for that. You know, I think a lot of times we've heard what we need to hear. It's just time to execute, right? And it doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be impossible. You don't have to spend $250 a week on yourself at the grocery store. You can spend a lot less than that. You know, in the beginning, it felt like a good idea to me to go buy a ton of vegetables. And then what I would see at the end of the week is I had a ton of vegetables rotting in the bottom of my fridge because I didn't really think about the meals I was going to eat them in.
Yes.
So when you go to the grocery store, don't just buy a bunch of stuff. Think through your meals. It'll take you 10 more minutes to write down. Maybe you eat the same thing for breakfast every day. I do. I love it. I love eating the same thing for breakfast every day. I also eat a very similar lunch every day. So for breakfast, for me, a lot of mornings I eat bacon, I eat eggs, and I will eat cuties, or I'll even eat cheese grits because I'm a big fan. But I count my calories, and that's how I do my dieting. Based on my BMR, I just make sure I stay underneath it, but stay close to it. For lunch today, I went with my daughter to the grocery store and I bought a big peach, and I bought a massive Greek salad. It had lettuce, onions, red cabbage, black olives. It had feta cheese, chicken, banana peppers, and a light Greek dressing to go on top. And the whole thing was 550 calories, and it was 5 servings of food that I ate in one sitting, and I do that a lot.
I do that all the time.
I love it. And you know what? It's less than $5. You want to talk about saving money?
Yeah.
You could go to Chick-fil-A and you could spend $9 on a sandwich and some French fries and regret it, right? Or maybe not. Maybe you don't regret it, right?
I mean,
so there's my next tip. No, what's yours? Go.
Well, I posted on Instagram what my dinner was last night after spending the day in the fair, and it was exactly that. It was a rotisserie chicken, peeled, no skin, over a Greek salad. And
It's delicious.
Not even
it's
no
easy.
cheese either.
Oh, it's really good. Oh my gosh. You guys never tried feta cheese and banana peppers and olives? Those are some of my favorite things now. My wife's not crazy about onions, so I don't eat them for dinner, but I'll eat them for lunch and then make sure I drink a cup of coffee and I'm good to go after lunch. What other tips do you have, Peter? I feel like we need to hit them with 3 more.
Well, it's holiday season's coming up, so you're going to be a
Let's
lot
talk
of
about that.
a lot of buffets and potlucks. You know, maybe two plates. You know, 2 plates.
Yes.
Don't go back for 8s and 9s. Just 2 plates.
Yes, and don't start with pumpkin pie on your plate. Start with a meat.
Don't waste it on chips.
Yes, a meat and then a vegetable and then potentially fruit or sweet potato. And then if there's room left on your plate, put the things that you are craving on your plate, and you're gonna eat them in that order as well. And you'll be glad you did. You'll fill up sooner. And
Take pictures of your food so you know what you ate, so you don't have to worry about marking it down at the time you do
Good
it.
one.
Know that this is a serving of protein. Know that thumbnail, that's a tablespoon. So you can have like little life hacks when you're out. You don't have to keep your app out and start trying to log in your food as you're eating it.
So good. You're going out and you're going to get drinks with the guys or the gals. Everybody gets around, get around. Everybody gets a second round, get a second round, but maybe don't finish the second round. Right? And if you know you're not going to be able to stop, then maybe you need to consider not going out drinking with the guys. But if you can control it and be in moderation, then you can still have a social life. You can still enjoy, don't bring your meal prep to the restaurant or the party. Don't bring your macros to Thanksgiving. Eat what everybody else is eating. Don't be weird.
I'm not going to condone the beverage cart for Halloween for the adults, but hey, people have fun.
Yeah. Hey, one for your kids, and this could be polarizing here, but maybe you take your kids out trick-or-treating. Let them have some fun. Let them fill up their bucket. At the end of the night, let them pick out 3 to 5, maybe even 6 pieces of candy, and let them eat those pieces of candy, and let the rest of the candy disappear before morning comes. And then record it on video and tell your kids you ate all their candy, and then upload the video to Ellen, and maybe you make national television. Be a good thing.
You get on the 12 Days of Christmas Giving from her show.
Cool. I think we really just got started talking about nutrition, so we're going to sign off for now. But I want you guys to know this is going to be a This is going to be a topic we continue to address because we know if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And so we're going to do our part to make sure it's always a part of the conversation. Next week, rest.
Rest.
Next week we're talking about rest. And I already can tell you your mind is going to be blown by statistics when it comes to rest. Peter probably needs a nap after being in that Thor meets
The garden
the woman from Hocus Pocus with his little stay-at-home mom utility hammer. I don't know. Does that mean to say? It even had. I don't. Anyways, we got to get out of here. So appreciate you guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Episode 6 next week.
Ciao.
Later. 35 minutes. Not bad. I'm surprised my phone's able to continue to record.